What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Algorand today. This one comes to us by our good man Fonzie. This one's for you, man. This one's for you, Fonzie. You requested it, so here it is, man. Here it is. Looking at this thing, man, I've actually never bought Algorand. I've never messed with it myself. I had a few friends that were like very gung-ho about it up here, and I was telling them, hey guys, I've seen this kind of shit before. You know, I was around during the real alt. Like, you think this was an alt cycle, man? Like, right? This was an alt cycle here where it went from bottom to top. You went up 30x. Like there were altcoins that were doing 30x's in a day, man, back in like 2018 or like in a week, you know, and more than that even. Like it was like 30% increases day after day after day for 2 weeks. Like I just remember. I remember how insane that was, and just hearing all my friends whenever they're talking about it up here, man, I was like, guys, I know that it sounds good. I know that they promise to do all these things, and they might. I'm not dogging this coin at all, man. I actually have heard nothing but good things about Algorand. From what I know about it, it's a legitimate project with legitimate people backing it. You know, it seems that they have every intention to do the things that they promise to do. But this is another friendly reminder that promises are just promises, guys. Okay, results are what make the big bucks, okay? And if 30x is nothing, that's nothing for crypto. That happens. It's great. I would love to make 30x. Everybody would love to make 30x, right? No one's going to be upset about that, but that's nothing for crypto. You know what I mean? But with all that being said, guys, I do think that this chart kind of looks good at the moment. You've got this double bottom looking kind of pattern showing at the moment. We haven't bounced yet. There's 4 days left. I mean, you could still hold this as a double bottom. You know, if we were to put a line right here, you are literally right there, man. You could even go a little bit lower, and it's still classified as a double bottom. Let's see. We're on the Binance chart, by the way. ALGO USDT. This is the most historical data I could find on TradingView. I think it is the most historical data. Looking at this thing from the first low to the current all-time high. Well, I guess it's not the current all-time high, but it's the high I'm going to use. We did break straight through the 618. We broke straight through it, and we confirmed it as resistance. I have to say, guys, that's not a good look. And what I mean by that is that generally when you see that kind of stuff, extensions are at play. And the minimum extension would be down to 3.75 cents, potentially down to 1 cent, and potentially even below 1 cent. That is totally possible. I did not expect to see that, to be completely fair. It doesn't have to. It's not totally condemning, you know. This is just off of like statistical likelihoods, and based off of this exact movement, man, this would imply that this is a statistical likelihood to go somewhere at least to the 1272. It doesn't have to, guys. It really doesn't have to. But let's see if we can find anything that kind of disputes that before I go over that on how bearish I am on this or whatever. I'm looking at it. You know, whatever. The RSI is weak on the monthly, but that's okay. You know, you could bounce off of this zone. This is a very bounceable zone right here. So maybe you go a little bit lower, just a little bit lower, and then bounce. Maybe you don't go lower at all and you bounce, whatever. Not a whole lot to go off of on the monthly. So let's dive into the weekly here and take a look. You are below the 50 on the long-term RSI. You are below the 123 moving average, and you are tilted down. Yeah, you know, looks bearish to a certain degree. Man, wow, you have been very weak. You've been very, very weak, Algorand, unfortunately. Anytime, man, you've just rejected this 50. Okay, come on now. I don't know why I did that. I like it on top. Okay. You go above the 50, you reject it. You go above the 50, you reject it. You have been below the 50. You really haven't shown any strength in the RSI since November. I mean, before that, really, it was probably, yeah, like November of last year. November of 2021, I'm sorry, 2 years ago. It really does not look good, you guys, in my opinion. This weekly RSI I'm not a fan of. Looking at the way that we're forming on the weekly with the price action, this is starting to look less like a double bottom and more like it wants to go lower. You've got a flattening base here with a descending line coming down. Maybe you break it and go up and ultimately still hold this overall descending structure that you have, right? Maybe you like give some false hope for a second, gives some people a chance to like get out and some other people a chance to sell, right? Or I guess the same people getting out are the people selling. I don't know why I said it like that, but maybe you don't. Maybe you just break straight from here. I don't know. There's no volume coming in. Volume is picking up, but you're not moving up. You're not moving down either, which I guess is good, but there's no real interest on this. And this is on ALGO USDT. This is the biggest exchange in the world, Binance, for crypto. So the volume is definitely significant here, man. It's definitely significant. Let's see if there's anything on the fibs that we can see like recently from bottom to top there. All right, yeah. You bounced off the 1886, came all the way down. You know, you found a little support on the 618. You broke clean through it though, and then you kept going down all the way down to the 1886. You rejected the 1272, and now you're holding the line at the 1618. As long as you hold this 1618 at about 10.84 cents on a closing basis, you can wick below it, as you have already several times. You can wick below it, and that's fine. But if you close a week below this 10.84 cent range line, not even a range, a specific price, you will very likely see deeper extensions for sure, because you already saw the 1886. This implies that you could, in fact, go lower, and I would think that you do. Let's see if there's any fibs here from this bottom to this top that line up. Yeah, I mean, the 1618 is somewhere in between over here. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know if I like that one so much. Let me delete this to make it a little more clear. You are respecting it at the moment. You're actually holding the 618, which is nice to see. But you held the 618 over here kind of the same way you're doing now, and it did not promote any growth. So I don't know. We'll see. You know, we'll see. Definitely this 10 point, what was it earlier? 10.84. I would say, you know, the 618 and the 1618 are very close to each other. So between 10.84 and 10.69 cents is the area that you need to hold on a closing basis on the weekly. If you close below it, if the week is coming down and you haven't closed the week yet, but it looks like you're going to close below it, I would be scared for sure. And just overall, with the way that the RSI is, with the way that the price action is, I'm not liking it. To be fair, there's a glimmer of hope. You do have a low here, a higher low here, and potentially another higher low. And what you have at the moment is a low and a lower low, slightly lower low. This is bullish divergence, but again, to be fair, you already had a move that was up 23%. Could this bullish divergence have already played out? Yes, it very well could have. Not encouraging at all. Let's keep going. I think I've done the weekly enough. Let's look at the daily now. Yeah. It looks like that descending kind of triangle formation. On the RSI, you're kind of neutral. It doesn't look too bad, to be fair. You're actually in this ascending range. The daily doesn't look bad. The daily is actually the best so far on the RSI. You've got this like ascending low formation, kind of a flat top here, right? You know, you could be getting ready to have a move up, just like I was saying in the beginning. Whenever I said, or not in the very beginning, but saying that we could break this trend line, this current like descending trend line here, and maybe go up and test this greater descending trend line, something like that. You know, maybe we go up to 14 or 15 cents. That could happen in the immediate term. That actually could happen. Looking at the daily, maybe this line's a little bit different. I don't know. Maybe it goes all the way up to 16 cents, something like that. I don't know. Oh, that line's not drawn properly. I'm sorry. I'd stick with 15 cents probably. Oh, 16 cents still. Okay, yeah. Anyways, looking at the daily, getting back to the immediate term time frames. I'm going to delete this. The RSI, it's neutral. It doesn't look good, but it doesn't look bad. And you are below the 50 more than normal. The only thing that's good about it, really, that I kind of like, is the fact that you've got this ascending structure here. And you keep bouncing off of this, yes, but like as you reject it, it's bad. But then you come up, you reject it, it's not as bad, maybe, you know. This could be good for the immediate term. Looking at the long term, yeah, you're definitely in a downtrend. But again, you might be overdue for some kind of pop. Let's see. Let's look at this fib from top to bottom here. No. I don't know. Let's see how today closes. I don't know. You got back above the 236. You found resistance at the 618. I don't know if I like this fib a whole lot. I mean, maybe you find respect on it, maybe you don't. If you were, your extensions are between 15 cents and 17 cents, which kind of lines up with that area I was talking about for a more immediate term move. So maybe you do see that. You've already rejected the 618 once, so likely whenever you come back up to it, you will break through it. Likely. It's not guaranteed. Maybe you come up and reject it again. That can always happen. But I would say, you know, it's maybe like 60% chance you break through it, 40% chance you don't. That's still a solid chance that you don't. So just keep that in mind. Don't get too excited. But the daily does, to me, the daily does look a little bit better than anything else you've seen. You're finding support now. At a previous area you found support, you've continued to find support on. So maybe you do move up. And the RSI doesn't look half bad. Let's look at the 4-hour. 4-hour RSI looks good too, man. As you're getting more on these immediate term time frames, look at this. You got this bullish divergence that formed here. You got a low here, lower low down here, lower low right here, and you just bullishly diverged all the way up. You don't have hidden bearish divergence. I guess you do. Yeah, I guess you do. But you bounced right off the 50 there, man, which I kind of like that. Let's get, you know, to really convince me that this move is going to continue to go upwards, break above this line here. You're almost there, man. Break above this line. Continue. Really get up above the 60 level on the RSI. Get up there. Get into the oversold zones. This is the 4-hour time frame, so it shouldn't take as much time as some of those other ones do. But I kind of like it, man. I kind of like it for an immediate move up. I don't think that it looks good. You know, I don't know. I'm not quite convinced yet that it won't go lower than this low. I'm not quite convinced yet that 9 cents is your all-time low. It could be, but let's just see how this thing plays out. You know, it's got a chance right now to prove that wrong and to really set a new trend here. It really does have a chance to do that. Let's look at the 1 hour to wrap this up. 1 hour time frame. You're showing respect on this 123 line. Yes, you know, you kind of weaved and bobbed through it, but you can see here rejected, found support even for a little bit, rejected, found some support, rejected it here, but you did not reject it hard, did you? You went down, you moved sideways, you're up. I bet you are going to get above this line, man. And looking at the long-term RSI, you're below the 50, but not by much. You really could. You very much. The shorter-term time frames do look good. I bet you do. I know I'm saying that, and this hour right here is actually kind of bearish looking, right? But so what? This one before is bullish looking. You're just showing indecisiveness at an area where you're probably going to congest before you break out. Hopefully it's to the upside. I would say if I had to bet my money on this thing, I would bet that you are getting ready for a move that's anywhere between like 15 to 17 cents in the very immediate term time frames. But ultimately, I'm not so convinced that 9 cents is the low. Ultimately, I do think you probably go lower. The 1 hour RSI, the 4 hour RSI, and the daily RSI do not look bad. It's at least got that going for it. So you know, not all hope is abandoned yet. And to be fair, guys, also let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up on a good note. You know, Algorand again. It's got a lot of popularity. I know there's a solid community behind it. I feel like it's got enough. What's the word I'm looking for? There's enough people who seem to know what they're doing, right? In the crypto space, there's a lot of big accounts that have like publicly backed this thing that they say they like it. So, and I haven't heard of any like 50% attacks or backdoor rug pulls or anything like that. I haven't heard of any problems with this. I'm sure it has its own problems. Everything does. Nothing's perfect, but you know, if this thing was to do well, what it's worth right now, by the way, is $871 million. If this thing was to do well in the coming bull market, it is definitely a 100xable coin from the current price. Okay, from the current price. If it were to go lower to the areas that I'm projecting, which would be anywhere from like 3 cents to 1 cent, a 100x at 11 cents would be like a 400x or a 300x at below 4 cents, right? Like, let's see, right? If we were to go here, maybe my math is wrong. I don't know. Let's see. A 100x would be right up there, and I do think that that's possible to achieve by the end of this bull market. If this thing, you know, still has traction, the community's behind it, it keeps up with what it wants to do, you know, it's very possible. It has a chance to. It definitely does. But if it were to go lower, let's say at least to 3.75, that same move that takes us to a 100x from the current price would be a 302x, 315x is what that would be. So dramatically more So if anybody likes this coin, you might want to see it go down, because again, just because it goes down does not mean that it's all over. That doesn't mean that this thing's going to go to zero and it'll never see life again. I think quite the opposite, actually, quite the contrary. I think, Algorand has enough popularity behind it where it very well could 100x from the current price. So anything lower is just going to be a gift from Algorand themselves. You've got almost a fully diluted supply, not quite yet, but that's okay. I don't know how they dilute it. I'm sure they have a DAO or something like that. I haven't looked too much into Algorand myself, but again, I'm not trying to dog on this thing. I'm just being real with the price and what I'm seeing in the charts. If you want to prove this wrong, if you want to prove the idea that you are in fact holding this double bottom, right? Which at the moment, if you were to move up in the immediate term time frames, which it looks like you want to, it would just look more and more like a double bottom. What you really want to do would be to start showing some significance on higher fibs, right? So from the top to the bottom here, you'd want to get above 20 cents. You'd want to get above 20 cents. And right now, I would more expect to move between 15 and 17 cents. So if you can break above that, that's the first step. If you can break above 17 cents, that's the first step on like a weekly closing basis or a daily closing basis even. But if you can get above 20 cents, 20 and a half cents on a daily, weekly, monthly, whatever, you get above this 236, I would say that this in fact is a double bottom. I would change all my bearish perspectives immediately just with that alone. You still have a lot of work to do, and I wouldn't say that the odds that you go lower are not completely there, but they're starting to finally look good. Right now, the odds that you go lower than 9 cents are, in my opinion, they're higher than that this is the bottom. So just be aware of that. I do like this coin. I do think that it has a bright future for the coming bull market. Does it go above its previous all-time high? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. That's totally possible. It's not completely out of the question. But from the current price, moving back to the current all-time high would still be like a 25, 26x. That's still incredible, guys. That's still a good price. If it were to go down to where I was saying around like 3.5 cents, even if it went to 4 cents, right? That's a 75x. So that's it's got potential to do well in this bull market still, even if it doesn't break its all-time high. But we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do before that is even in the equation. So, and I said if it weren't to break the all-time high, I guess it's putting it right there. Maybe we could put it. Oops. Maybe we could put it down like here, where we found like a closing resistance. Still 30x, still sizable moves, man, are definitely possible for this thing, even if it performs poorly. You know what I mean? So, and I don't think it will. I really don't think it will. I think this thing has a solid community behind it, and it seems like a legitimate project. Again, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. I really am. I really do believe that, but I'm probably not going to buy this one. I might if it drops to the lows that I'm thinking. I might buy some. I might dabble, but at the moment, I'm not interested in buying personally. So that's all I really got to say. If you like the video, guys, leave a thumbs up, please. I very much appreciate all the likes. Subscribe to see more, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day. Have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.